Safely and quickly extinguishing fires requires that you have knowledge of not only fire characteristics and extinguishing agents, but also of fire extinguishers and best practices for firefighting. During this topic, you will examine the equipment and procedures for fighting fires. After completing this topic, you will be able to assess the feasibility of successfully fighting a fire, relate best practices for approaching a fire, describe principles of fire extinguishers used in fighting fires, and relate critical safety considerations to observe when fighting fires. "10 to 20 seconds. That is the amount of discharge agent typically contained in a portable fire extinguisher and is a limiting factor in whether you can or should fight a fire. Critical to this lesson is how to determine if it is safe for you to fight a fire, or if you should evacuate the area and immediately notify first responders. Click on each of the considerations for more details. Is the fire too large to fight? Consider the chances of successfully extinguishing the fire. If your extinguisher is close by and the fire just began out on the ramp, your chances of extinguishing it may be good. If you are not near an extinguisher and the fire is inside a hangar or building, it may be less likely that you will be able to fight the fire. Do not attempt to fight any fire that endangers your life. Is it progressing too rapidly? Consider whether professional assistance is readily available, what you must do to obtain it, and what condition the fire might be in when assistance arrives. Rapid fire growth, especially one involving a running fuel spill, may overwhelm your extinguisher. Remember, in some cases, circumstances may exist in which the best alternative is not to attempt to extinguish the fire. Is it safe to approach? Evaluate the risk of explosions, secondary fires, smoke, and sudden growth that could further endanger your safety or the safety of others. Could the fire block your escape route? Be cautious before entering an enclosed area with limited escape routes. A sudden change in size or direction could leave you trapped. Do you have an appropriate extinguisher for the type of fire? You must be completely familiar with the types and sizes of fire extinguishers at your FBO or airport location, as well as their capabilities for the various classes of fires. Is the fire too hot or the smoke too thick? You must be able to get close enough to put the fire out. If the fire is too hot or the smoke too thick, you may not be able to fight the fire.
Can you completely extinguish the fire? Fires that have not been completely extinguished may flare up or reignite once the extinguishing agent is gone. Again, circumstances may exist in which the best alternative is not to attempt to extinguish the fire.
Only you can make the decision to fight or flee. Once you have made a decision to fight a fire with a portable extinguisher, your personal safety and the safety of others will depend upon your ability to quickly and accurately assess the situation and act appropriately. You may only have seconds to decide the most appropriate action and to evaluate whether or not to attempt extinguishing it. Proper extinguishing technique is essential to fighting any size fire. Extinguishers could potentially be rendered useless in fighting the smallest of fires if used improperly. Let's begin by reviewing portable fire extinguisher features. Portable fire extinguishers consist of a pressurized metal container holding a limited quantity of extinguishing agent. The container typically contains a gauge that displays the pressure of the agent in the tank. Do not attempt to fight a fire if the gauge needle is below the green band. Some extinguishers use an external nitrogen bottle to charge the extinguisher for use. A discharge valve controls the flow of agent from the extinguisher. The valve is protected from accidental discharge by a removable pin. A discharge hose and/or nozzle direct the flow of discharge agent from the tank. The principles of fire extinguisher use apply to all extinguisher types. Using a fire extinguisher is best remembered by the acronym PASS, or PASS, which stands for Pull, Aim, Squeeze, and Sweep. Click on each step to learn more. Remove the extinguisher from its location, approach the fire, and position yourself upwind of the blaze. Remove the discharge valve safety pin, P, by making a rapid twisting motion to break the safety seal. If your extinguisher uses an external nitrogen supply, puncture the cylinder to pressurize and activate the extinguisher. Remove the nozzle from its bracket and point at the base of the flame, A. Move to within 10 feet of the flame and squeeze the discharge valve of the extinguisher, S. As the extinguishing agent is released, make a rapid sweeping motion at the base of the flame, S. Never try to extinguish a fire by discharging agent in the middle or upper portion of the flame. This will only blow the fire away from its source and spread the blaze. Remember that the reaction area is occurring at the base of the fire. When the flame closest to you is extinguished, move forward, maintaining the rapid back and forth sweeping motion. This will break up the reaction area located at the base of the flames and help cool the reaction area. After the fire is out, do not turn your back on the fire area. Remember the heat at the surface of the reaction area and the heat of the objects that were ablaze will be at or near auto-ignition temperature. There is a danger of flashback and re-ignition. By backing away from the fire, if flashback occurs, you will be in a position to continue spraying the fire with extinguishing agent. The procedures shown here provide the most effective method to extinguish a fire. Always remember PASS, or Pull, Aim, Squeeze, and Sweep. Review these procedures with your supervisor or fire authority. It is important that you have actual hands-on instruction in their use. During an emergency, this training will assure maximum efficiency from your extinguisher. The acronym PASS will help you remember proper fire extinguisher use. Place the actions in their proper order. Click the Score button to check your answer. Correct! PASS. Pull or remove the nozzle safety pin. Aim the extinguisher at the base of the flames. Squeeze the discharge valve. Sweep the extinguisher across the base of the flame. Click and drag the line service specialist to the proper location for fighting this fire. Click the score button to check your answer. Correct. You should position yourself upwind of a fire to prevent it blowing towards you as you fight it. Position the target so that it points to the location where the fire extinguisher should be discharged. Click the score button to check your answer. Great job! The extinguisher should be discharged at the base of the flame. Should this extinguisher be used to combat a fire? The gauge is reading empty. It is likely that this extinguisher has been used and no longer holds the full charge. It should not be used to fight a fire. Every fire is unique, and each poses its own set of challenges and risks. Your decision to fight a fire must be driven by your knowledge of fire characteristics, your assessment of the fire risk, and your skill in fire extinguisher use. Remember, the decision to fight a fire is yours alone. Only do so when you are confident you can do it safely and successfully.